Hello and welcome back to Seagulls Social Season 2, Episode 38. What an unbelievable result and what an unbelievable cast we have got. I say cast because we've been blessed with the presence of an unbelievable actor known as Benjamin. Say your surname again. Tavassoli.
Started so well.
Started so well. Ben, thank you so much for coming. We'll get back to you in a bit. Jack, we are finally rejoined by Jack Albion, who's had a trim since we last saw his face.
There's no hair anymore. It needs to be trimmed
again.
again.
Him in the West Upper. I got to be honest. I walked straight past him.
Yeah. Didn't
I was just like, is that Jack? I'm not sure.
It's former Iceland midfielder Aaron Gunnarsson.
Or Thor, the boxer who just fought Eddie Hall in it. And then, of course, we are joined by Ryan Adset, the lad, the legend. Oh, Jack, I actually had a really, really good saying for you. The ground hopper and the cherry popper, Jack Albion. How's that?
Someone came up to me yesterday at the women's game. Lovely guy. And said to me, "I'm the most famous ground hopper in Sussex." That was a bit weird.
You probably are.
No, they're definitely more famous than me. Like,
who?
I don't. No, there's not. I don't know. I'm just.
There's not.
I'm humble. So.
Well, speaking of fame, obviously we've got Ryan Adset, but yeah, Ben, let's go back to you quickly. Obviously, you've done a brilliant podcast with Albion Assess, so if you want to find out more about Ben, please go and watch that. I'll leave a link in the description if I do remember. Otherwise, just search it on YouTube, you ladybuggers. But Ben, tell us a bit about yourself and what you've been in.
I actually think my biggest role was probably getting a match of the day at Spurs away, to be honest. But otherwise, I'm in a show called Screw on Channel 4 at the moment. And sorry, mate, my voice is, as you can all understand why my voice is completely gone. This is painful. I did a show called Bulletproof on Sky One.
Yeah. And then obviously, I bumped into your cast member, didn't I? Was it Ashley Walters in St. Patrick's Station? For some reason I'd done like the weird like boxing thing you do when you have a photo of a boxer. I was absolutely panicked, boys, I can't lie. The same thing when I got a picture of Jeremy Sarmiento, I'd done that, and then I was in my head I was like, he's not a boxer. Put my thumb up really awkwardly, and I just had the most awkward picture ever. But his presence is crazy. Like I was so intimidated as soon as I saw him. He's only about 5'8" or something like that, but he was still quite intimidating.
He's smashing the weights at the moment as well, so he's pretty stocky. He's a very close friend. I really like him.
Cool, man. I should have mentioned that, but that's my fault. I was just absolutely shitting myself. But right, so we are here to celebrate the unbelievable result 4-0 against Manchester United, a team that had Cristiano Ronaldo in their team. We've joined Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, and Barcelona as teams that have only beaten Ronaldo by 4 goals. Ben's got the Ecuador flag out for Moises Caicedo, and I'm assuming Jeremy Sarmiento as well. Ryan, I will start with you, of course, because you are the absolute legend. Ryan, what was the atmosphere like? I can't believe I missed it. Even the guy whose wedding I went to said, "I'm so sorry for dragging you out here, and you've missed the best game ever." I'm fucking gutted. Ryan, what was it like?
I don't want to be like really reactionary and over dramatic or anything, but it was genuinely probably the best atmosphere at the Amex ever, or at least up there. I mean, I think that Sheffield Wednesday was probably the one where everyone was like benchmark. Doesn't really get much better than that. But Manchester United didn't stop from the beginning to the end. Literally, from the beginning, you sort of sensed there was a bit of energy, if you know what I mean, Jack. I'm sure you probably and Ben the same. You probably thought it was just a bit more upbeat from the beginning. The crowd was up for it. And I think what really got to me anyway, I walked around the ground a lot, and I know my mate as well, shout out. Actually, no, not shout out, Cal, because you went and you're a Man United fan, mate. But the amount of Manchester United fans, the Ronaldo fans that were there was one next to me, and to be fair, he took it quite well and was like, fair play, that was a good goal, whatever. But there were so many of them around the ground, and I was just like, I really, really, really want to beat them now, just to ruin all of their days, if you know what I mean. And oh my God, how we beat them. 4-0 at the Amex. I mean, that is probably one of the greatest results in club history, let alone in Amex history. To beat Manchester United 4-0 in the way we did, after beating Wolves 3-0 last week, I mean, it literally doesn't get much better than that, does it?
No.
Jack. Jack, give us your view of your.
Yeah,
you're quite low, Ryan, but yeah.
Through like quite big beer goggles, to be honest. I think I was drinking from very early doors. Well, I had an Acheron.
That's the trouble with a 5:30, isn't it?
Yeah, because I had an Acheron on the championship game, so I made sure to find a pub. So I got Soccer Saturday. I didn't win anything, if you wondered. Sure. But none of it came in. But I think I was talking to some people yesterday, and I was saying I think that is our best ever result ever. for any result. Like, we played so well. We were brilliant. The atmosphere was amazing. Like, every goal that went in, I don't think I don't for a season where we complained about the atmosphere from the get-go. Saturday was superb. Like,
Jack, it was genuinely, and I'm not just saying this to be overdramatic. It was the best I've seen Brighton play, wasn't it? I mean, I can't tell you a time where we haven't. But I think that is genuinely the best I've ever seen in quality wise. Brighton play football.
Yeah, every single player was just on it. Nobody let up, and it was so good to see Solly March and Pascal Gross play so well.
On it, wasn't he?
Because they're probably players who've got quite a lot of stick from our support this season. For maybe, the old Pascal Gross is slow. But them two, yes, on Saturday were amazing. And it was so good to see, people, my opinion especially, that they are still massive assets. Be vindicated that they were superb. And and then, the normal performers, Cucurella back at his usual best. And Caicedo, for what, like a 20-year-old kid who's just come over to play like that. It's ridiculous. I mean, I know it's a new song, but he is going to win the Ballon d'Or. He is that good.
Eventually.
He is.
Ben, what was the view like from the north? Obviously topless with your big goggles on. That was an iconic picture, by the way. That needs to be hung up outside the ground next to the Duncan Chris shooting. What was it like, man?
Yeah, mate, it was, Ryan got to see it from the west. I wish I'd actually been able to see it from another stand, because it's mate, it just turned into a festival, man. Like the top off, as you said. Shout out to my boy Jake for getting that photo. That's going to come to the grave of me, man. That was mad. But, mate, it was insane. As you said, one of the best, probably the best atmosphere I've been part of at the Amex, because maybe besides the day we got promoted, but listen, as you can hear, mate, I left it all in that stadium. My voice is gone.
It's a good thing you're not on a podcast, man, that's for sure. Well, we'll talk about the first goal. And these things happen in football sometimes. And Moises Caicedo scoring against Man United is one of the most poetic things you'll see this season. A bloke that was rejected by Man United scouts because they didn't think he was worth $4 million from a club that's one of the richest in the world. So we were like, you know what, we've been looking at him, we'll just pick him up for $4 million as well, 4.5, whatever it was. And he scores his first ever goal against Man United, a team that he also supports. That is just so poetic. And did that lift the roof off, or was it already buzzing as well, Ryan?
Mate, it absolutely lifted the roof. I haven't genuinely celebrated a goal that much in ages. I just went mad. I was so
at home, especially.
Yeah, at home. Yeah, away. Yeah, to be fair, there's been some mad celebrations, but at home, I can't tell you I've celebrated that much in the last few years. And when Caicedo scored, he just literally went mad. And I don't think he even had any bearing of where he was. He just ran around going absolutely mad. He started dancing in front of
Alan Pardew dances, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Mate, it was just, as you say, poetic is the word for it, because it was just made for him. It was his moment, and he nearly had his moment against Wolves. But I think that whole game from start to finish, as if he hasn't been already, he was fantastic. He was just absolutely all over the place. And mate, I'm so happy for Caicedo, honestly. He just looks like such a good guy. And as I think I said it a couple of weeks ago when we signed him back in the January window 2021. You saw that video of him leaving his family and crying, and how difficult that must have been for him to then come and score your first Premier League goal against Manchester United. I mean, he would have dreamt of that moment, let alone actually happening. So it's probably not even sunk in for him yet. What a moment.
And Jack, what are your thoughts on the goal, man? Obviously, really happy for Caicedo, for sure. I
mean, the way it was hit as well, it just sort of, it was like slow motion. I mean, it looks quicker every time I watch it, but the way it just sort of rolls in with the diving De Gea, I mean, it was a fantastic hit. And Caicedo, who, we've all been watching recently, and there's that guy on YouTube, the Ecuadorian bloke who keeps on vlogging every game, who seems
I haven't seen him.
Yeah, no, he's good value. And, just sort of like how much he seems to be loved over there. It was great to see him get a goal.
That chant is so good as well. Caicedo.
Yeah, I know. That is a good one. It might actually beat my Skoda chant.
Did that start on Saturday, yeah?
Yeah, I've never heard it before Saturday.
No, do you know what it is? It's actually, I think the lad I stand with called Anthony, who stands at the back of C Block. He just started it on his own, and he just started this whole yeah. Really? I was there to witness it. I was like the second person to sing it, mate. It was like you have to listen to what he's saying, but then by the end, the whole North Stand was singing it.
That's
whole stadium.
So Is that so? The kid, I think we've all seen that same video of that kid with the hyper turquoise shirt on the lad's shoulders.
Yeah.
I think that's my mate Brett's like apprentice at work as well. So he's just like on the shoulders going, guys. Well, mate, honestly, what a song! And I got to kind of say this. My brother won't be watching because he's a United fan, but my brother, obviously, we spoke about it last week, went to that game, and oh my god, did I give it to him yesterday when he came back? I was so. Just mate, it's fucking class. He kind of just didn't kind of say anything every time I was like giving it to him, so I kind of got bored a bit. But mate, that was the most enjoyable part. We beat Man United 4-0, and finally after all those years, I was able to rub it in his face. It is crazy.
So many times, and the 4-0 to the Albion chart was mad as well. Like in the West Upper, right, is hit and miss. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's kind of quiet. But like it was just bouncing. And when that 4-0 to the Albion chant come out, Jack, I'm sure you were buzzing with it as well.
Oh yeah, like I was hugging. Even a bloke behind me who moans about everything, and he knows who he is. He probably won't watch this, but he knows who he is. I even said to him, "There is absolutely nothing you can moan about."
No, literally.
And he said, "You're right. There is nothing." And I was hugging random people. It was great. I mean, probably being quite well oiled helped, but
Mate, there is one thing I can moan about. Sorry, so because it was in the first half after we scored the first goal, Solly March got played through on goal, and then all he had to do was like square it to Welbeck, and he could have made it 2-0. But the linesman flagged it offside. Yeah, but it wasn't offside. Like where's the point where they're meant to like wait for the play to go if they're not sure. And it was and he was onside. Yeah, that could have easily been 2-0 as well. That was the only thing I could probably complain about in that game. If we went on to lose that, I would have been livid.
Welbeck should have scored that. Someone put him through by accident. He should have lobbed.
Varane.
Oh, the chip.
Varane let him through, mate. Yeah. That should have been put away. But like, it could have been six. Genuinely, it could have been 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Like, it's just ridiculous.
Easily.
Yeah, it was.
Easily.
We could have been 6 or 7. You're right. Like we were so clinical for a change as well. Even without being that clinical to get the 6-7, like we were just like every single pass was right.
We're being clinical when Cucurella bangs one as well.
Oh,
that's true. The man we've been on about for ages, and he needs to shoot. I think everyone around the grounds for the last God knows how long has been saying Cucurella needs to shoot more. God, did he shoot as well? He took the net off with that one.
Rocket.
I mean, absolute rocket, and the emotion behind Cucurella as well when he comes down and he sort of starts crying and does the heart.
It's amazing.
He was still pretty much in tears after the game. I mean, he did the interview. He was still close to tears. I mean, you
couldn't help but smile watching that. Literally watching that interview of him and Donkey. Beautiful interview.
I nearly cried, mate.
It was good.
I literally had like a lump in my throat.
I have to say, from the time when at school I was the only Brighton supporter. In a school in Hove, which is mad when you think about it. But, back those days when we used to lose 4-0 to Crewe Alexandra. Yeah. And, to go all the way to beating Man United in we lost 4-0 to Crewe, I think in 2009. So to go, that was.
You'd have like your Arsenal fans, your Arsenal friends, and your Man United friends will be like, "Oh, we just beat Fulham 4-0 easy."
Yeah, to go less than 15 years later, us beating Man United in the Premier League to get our highest ever points total. It is. I didn't think the club I supported when I was watching Andy Wing and Doug Loft would ever do that.
Doug Loft, mate.
Yeah.
And it recently marked the 25 years, wasn't it, since Hereford? Yeah. And it's just like the end to a film. Like it really does feel like the end. It's the end of a movie, and it's got a happy ending. It's nice magic, man.
Yeah.
What play are you going to play, Ben? If we do make a film, if we do make a feature film,
there's times where I've worn my Brighton tracksuit top on a night out in Brighton, and people have called me Knockout.
Oh yeah,
it's not
he loves a party as well. So Ben, you'll be able to play that quite well.
I think we're just like the same height and just gotta have olive skin. I mean, it's as far as it goes. But if I could play like him,
I'm sure you can, mate. But obviously, so we mentioned Cucurella's goal. It's very similar to Mahrez's against Madrid, wasn't it? Just that first time hit with the left foot, nothing De Gea could do. And just mentioned De Gea, of course. Robert Sanchez, Ryan. Obviously, we got a bit of stick Well, I suppose Seagulls Social did because we said that he wasn't good enough, but which isn't the case. We said that he was overrated.
Only Ryan thought that, so he can just...
I didn't want to throw Ryan under the bus either. I replied, put us, but from a personal account. I didn't want to throw him under the bus, so I just replied like, we never said those words, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, how good was Robert Sanchez? Yeah.
Let me take this because, obviously it was so controversial for some reason. Like the fact I made a bit of a passing comment. Okay, yes, maybe it was a bit wrong in hindsight, but that's the love of football, isn't it? Things change so quickly. In 2 weeks' time, if Sanchez makes a howler, people will be calling him out again, if you know what I mean. But no, look, mate, he had absolutely brilliant game. And I was saying it to my dad next to me, and I said, he's been fantastic every single time we've needed him today. I mean, there's 2 saves in particular. I think there was one down to his right-hand side. Yeah. I'm not sure if it got given offside or something as it come back in. Was that when Cavani scored?
It was when Cavani scored. He saved down to his right.
That initial save was fantastic. And there's another one as well.
The Cavani header as well, wasn't it?
The header, that was it. The header,
Jesus.
Those 2 saves in particular, not to mention the other ones as well. When he was called upon, because 4-1 doesn't look as good as 4-0 sort of thing. I mean, it's more of a OCD sort of thing there with football fans. But 4-0 looks like a thrashing, and a big part of that does come down to Robert Sanchez. The pass for the goal that obviously led to the gross goal.
What a goal!
What a ball! There's me talking about the fact that you like to kick it out, his distribution. And this was during a bit of a rough patch. I think this was part of like the 7-game streak where we couldn't win a game for love nor money, and. It's just funny how football changes. But no, all credit to Sanchez. I mean, this is what I've been trying to say for so long to everyone that keeps tagging me saying, oh, look, Ryan's wrong again. But I don't think you realise I'm a Brighton fan. I want Sanchez to do it. I'm happy for him. I couldn't be happier that he's pulling off these wonder saves and that he's back into form.
Yeah, I want to see him be able to pass a ball like 50 yards and get it accurate, which he did. But when he doesn't, and he does it often if he doesn't, then you've got to kind of call him out for it. So, but when he obviously does it...
I don't know what people expect me to do. They see Sanchez save. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, Sanchez made a save again. Like, I'm not being like that. I'm like,
mate,
so.
Ryan, mate. Like my Sundays and Mondays after a game, I spent just like having your back on Twitter. I'm like, I can't leave him out on his own. I'm like, give the kid a break, bro. So I'm doing the admin for you, bro. But yeah, no. Yeah, I agree with you a lot of the time.
Yeah, good. But speaking of admin work, Ben, Pascal Gross gets a lot of hate online as well. Do you back him up at all, or do you get on his back?
Mate, look, if anyone can do 6 quarter turns in a row, then they can get on his back. But I don't think anyone can. So what can we say?
That is so spot on as well. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's a good point. Actually, let's bring on Gross now. Yeah. Because he was superb, and it's funny because after the game, he because I did put a tweet on. I don't think people quite got the reference. He said to BBC Sussex after the game, he was asked if he's staying for next season. Can he give?
I was trying to look for the interview because you mentioned the interview. I was looking everywhere for it. Couldn't find it.
I don't know. Maybe they just didn't post it out. I was listening to it on the radio because obviously I drove into the game. And he just basically said, I can't, we need to see what happens. We wait for the summer for that. And he does miss home. He's been here for 5 years. He thanks the fans for our time and all the memories. And I just said to me, it doesn't sound great. It probably is leaving then. Which is a big shame because I think Gross will go down as a legend. Without a doubt, he is easily the legend of the Premier League era. He's been here since the beginning. He's been player of the season.
But if that is first goal,
he is the legend of the Premier League era.
If that is his last contribution, then what a way to go out. His last goal contribution is probably one of the best team goals, maybe.
The best he's played probably in one game, I'd say. I mean, he run that midfield. And
he just loves playing against Man United, didn't he? That's 3 goals in the last 3 games against Man United. Yeah. So obviously he scored the vital one that kind of mathematically kept us up, didn't it, at the Amex in our first season, wasn't it? So that's an iconic goal. And then, that one. To take it past a World Cup winner, like 3-time Champions League winner, skin Varane like that, and then tuck it into the bottom corner, De Gea like that. It was such a good goal. Yeah. I was so gassed for him. It's unbelievable.
That's the thing, Ben. We're saying about Varane, we're talking about De Gea. We're not talking about, your championship, end of the
James
championship.
Tompkins.
Yeah, we're talking about De Gea and Varane. This is Brighton Hove Albion. This is ridiculous to even talk about. It's almost like we're in a dream saying these sort of things.
Yeah. But I would have had to pinch myself when you guys were chanting 4-0 to the Albion. That would have been such a mad moment. No one would have envisaged that. Maybe Ryan, our pre-match comments, getting everyone to come up. Maybe that actually worked. I doubt it did. I doubt no one gave a shit.
Maybe it worked.
Said,
maybe we take credit for it. Maybe we can.
Someone did tag me in it afterwards.
Let's take the credit as well.
Yeah, let's take the credit as well. But yeah, honestly, Pascal Gross. How disappointed will you be, Jack, if he does go? He's still vital. He doesn't play every game or start every game or whatever, but he's still vital to our system.
He's on my hat that I wear to every game. So, you know, the lucky hat. Wasn't so lucky when we lost 6 in a row, but, you know. But, you know, it's I love him. Like, I think what the thing is, though, and I think he very much, you've almost got to build a team around him. You know, players have got to play him. They've got to, when he gets on form, it was like, the time I remember he was at his best was when he had Izquierdo, like running triangles around him, you know. Izquierdo pass it, play through to him. And yesterday was like that, with Trossard bouncing off him, Cucurella bouncing off him. If you put him in that middle bit, he's one of the best players in the league. Not okay, maybe not that far, but you know, he's
in the other 14. He's
one of the best creators, definitely. When you can play him like that, he creates so many chances, and you just think of it like, you know, that the one which Welbeck almost scored when it went over the top. And then Trossard, well, you know, the fourth goal, the comedy goal, which we all wanted. And when it got put into Trossard's chest to go in. But that ball through the middle was down to him. So
I don't want to talk about it, by the way, just before we move on.
What, the fourth goal?
No, just on Gross a minute. Because I don't want to say it, but it does look like he will go.
Yeah.
You know, money-wise, what would you take for Pascal Gross? Because he plays like a £50 million player, but we're probably not going to get £50 million.
Yeah, is it a contract fee?
Yeah, he's out of contract, yeah.
Oh, shit.
No, I thought it was next year.
Yeah.
Then that's a trouble. That's a big problem.
Yeah. I think, to be fair to him, I think I heard from someone that his family still lives in Germany.
Yeah, so that's what he was saying on the thing.
So I think, you know, if he wants to go back to Germany, I think any Bundesliga team would be happy to take him, except maybe Bayern or Dortmund.
Or Leipzig.
You know, anybody would be happy to take him. So if he wants to go back there, then he's got all my best wishes. But I'd love him to stay for more.
But he's good enough for the Premier League. Yeah. I guess it's just that other teams maybe don't see that, and other fans especially don't see. Even Brighton fans don't. Some Brighton fans don't see it.
No.
Ben, we're going to quickly move on. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so the fourth goal, it went to VAR. If that was scored against you, would you be disappointed? Do you think it should have been a handball? Or do you think, what were your thoughts on it?
I mean, at the time, I didn't have a clue what was going on. I've watched
Standard
it back.
VAR, isn't it?
It hits him in the chest now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't. Does it?
I think it brushes his forearm a little bit.
I thought I saw a slight hand. But to be honest, with all the fucking decisions, sorry, I've absolutely lost it. All the fucking decisions we've had against United over the years, getting a penalty after the final whistle, you know, that, and then you've got, the one at United this season with that red card. I couldn't give a fucking shit.
That's a very, very good point.
Quote me on that one. Quote me. I could not care less.
I even think the VAR team was like, look, just let them have their moment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
United aren't going to get back in the game. Just let them have it. Because
to be honest, it didn't fully hit his hand. Like it looked like, I don't know whether he's moving it away at the same time. Who cares? It's inconclusive. 4-0. Who gives a shit? It should have been 5 straight after as well. It would have been.
Yeah, it should have been. Yeah.
I think you're right, Ben. I think the VAR people are just like, let United burn. Just let them burn. Just bring him down even further.
Before we move on from that, just that goal, Trossard. It's his fourth goal in the last 5 games or something like that. He's been absolutely
3 assists as well. Something like that as well.
He's class.
He's been so good. And
he's world class.
He's gone up in my estimations for player of the season because obviously he had a good beginning of the season. He had a touch and go sort of mid-season, and at the end of this season, he's been absolutely rampant again. Yeah. So for that reason, he's gone up to probably second place. I still think Cucurella takes top spot.
No one gets near.
And then Veltman. But mate, what? Just let's just talk about Trossard a minute. What a player he's been recently, and. You know, he's out of contract in a year's time.
I was going to say, he's open to offers, Ryan. That's what I'm scared about.
Offers. You know, does he go in the summer? Possibly. It's another big question mark. I mean, this team could be different come August time this year.
Yeah.
Trossard, talk about Trossard, Ben. You start.
He's class. He's not first on my list, that's for sure. I think last week I said Cucurella, then Trossard, and then it was Maupay just for the. Then it was just Maupay for the bruises and the memories. I would be he's so good. He's definitely finally getting some consistency, isn't he? Because he was Mr. Inconsistent before. He was just so good. He was so good against Spurs, against Arsenal, and against Man United as well. He's a big game player. And he turns up in the big games and he gets the vital goals as well. But
exactly.
I don't know what that is. I mean, it's probably
it's his son. No, so basically, his son was like, you need to have a celebration, or he asked his son to do a celebration. I think his son done that because he's big into his superheroes. So now every time he goes home after scoring, his son runs up to him and does that to him straight away.
They both do it together like that.
Yeah.
I thought that he was looking for a new
that's actually really sweet.
Looking for a move away, I think, Jack. He's looking for a new club.
Well, because when Murray used to do that, someone I remember saying to me that he wants a 5-year deal. That's why he's doing it.
But
He
Jack,
put
do you
his
think
hand in his head for a 5-year deal.
For his daughter.
Jack, do you think he will go? Yeah. And if he does go, who will he go to? Who would?
So for me, I said this to my neighbour who I go with at the weekend. Him and my favourite McAllister. Just ask him how much you want. We know we're willing to pay. We know we're willing to
put it on the table.
Yeah, I'm doing the Rio thing. Put it on the table, give him whatever. But you're looking at we know Lallana's on a lot of money. Mm-hmm. They're like Trossard to score pretty much every game for the last 4 if we just forget City, because they're amazing, and he didn't play. He didn't even play in the City game.
Yeah, true.
No. So to score in all those. Oh no, he didn't score against Southampton. Yeah, that's why it's 4 out of 5. There you go. Got that wrong, but never mind. But to score in all those games, he should be offered that kind of money. And if we can get him on a good contract that he wants, and I'm not talking about breaking a bank or something silly, but we've got to keep him because he's so vital to how we're playing at the moment. Do I think? If he goes, I think he'd be more than good enough in like a sort of. As much as Man United look terrible, that's the sort of player they should be looking at if they do want to bring someone in. Yeah, like if Man United want to go somewhere, they need to look at players like Trossard and like that. Or I don't quite think he's good enough for your City or your Liverpool.
No,
like your top 2.
No.
Arsenal, that'd be another very good side for him, or even Tottenham. So and the best side for him, I'd like to emphasise, is Brighton. So
I see what I could see. Ben, you agree with me or disagree with me? I'll go to you in a second. I could potentially see Bowen leaving West Ham and West Ham going in for Trossard. But what about you, Ben? What teams do you reckon would suit him?
I think he gets into any team apart from the big 2, but I don't think he's going to go this summer. I think teams will want to look at him for a bit longer.
Yeah.
But as Albion fans, we watch him week in, week out. We know how good he is. But I think he's just his name is getting out there because of the goals he's scoring. So now clubs will keep an eye on him for another season. But I think next year he's going to go.
The trouble is, Ben, he will want to get rid of him if he wants to go, because his contract's out.
Yeah, we want to cash in on him.
So you'd want to get the money ideally before he obviously
I hear you.
goes on a free.
It would just be a shame.
If he renews a contract, but I want him to renew a new contract this summer.
I'd love to. I would love that.
Yeah.
And speaking of another player, someone said he might be on the way out. Danny, our good friend, said that he reckons Neal Maupay might be on his way out. Obviously, he walked down the tunnel, didn't say anything. As soon as the whistle went, his head went down and he started walking off immediately. And I've got this tweet from my friend Albion Smudge, who goes with his son. And he said, I had my lad with me, so we hung around to see the players leave. Maupay was the first out, no signing of autographs or selfies. He went straight to his car and off. All the other players took time to engage with fans and do something else, whatever he said. Why is he doing that? And is that a signal that he could be on his way out? Ryan, you obviously were a bit vocal on it after the game.
The thing is, I wasn't really vocal. I put a tweet on, I just said, why? And people, for some reason, whenever I put a tweet on it, it's being vocal and it's being put in an uproar. But I just put a tweet out asking a question and people take it too personally.
I hate the fact that people just go, shut the fuck up, we've won. I'm just like, no, but it's a good point to make. Why is it?
The question.
I will admit, I did say that to someone who brought it up to me, though. Yeah. Someone brought it up to me in Little Standard. Oh, look, Maupay walked straight off, and I just went, shut up, we're going to the pub. But other than
the thing is, I'm all for that, shut up, I came home, have a beer, whatever, that's fine. But I just wanted to know why he walked straight down the tunnel. I agree. I'm not slating him. Everyone knows I've backed Maupay. I've mentioned it twice. People are like, you've mentioned it every game. I've mentioned it twice. I said it last time. I said it this time. That's it. But yeah, I don't get it really. I don't understand. Maybe he's going through something. We know Maupay goes through dips in sort of mental states quite evidently. But I don't know what's in him. I obviously don't want to comment if that's the case. But only he knows, I suppose. But it's just not very nice for fans when you've just won 4-0.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's buzzing. Why wouldn't you?
Maybe for a club that he loves and cares about.
I don't know.
Do you know the one thing I'd say, lads? The one thing I'd say, just like, because you remember Knockout used to be a bit like this. He was just, he was like very, it's quite emotional and fragile mentally. But then it came out 3 years later. He spoke about it. He said he was having a real rough time. So I don't want to jump on someone's back.
Yeah,
exactly.
We have to remember these guys, like they have other things going on in their lives, and I just think. I mean, Maupay just seems to sit home playing FIFA like 24 hours a day, but I would just hate to get the players back to then find out he's going through problems.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like,
I agree with that too.
I think he's obviously a player who plays so much on his confidence, like his confidence, and we all seen that. You know, when he's confident, he's amazing. When he's not confident, he's the opposite. And like, I think he's just, you know, players just go through it sometimes. If he's not in a good way, then that's what it is, and he might just want to walk off. I mean, at the end of the day, him walking off, I didn't even notice it from where I was.
Too busy hugging and kissing everyone, yeah.
But I did notice it at Wolves. But you know, I've got, like, you know, if that's how he is, you do wonder if he's fallen out with the manager. But at the end of the day, no one knows.
We can only speculate.
Well, he's got Danny Welbeck playing really, really well in front of him. Maybe,
and he must be disappointed.
It's a confidence thing. Yeah, disappointment, a confidence thing.
He must be disappointed that, you know, that we're playing so well, and the team is playing so well, and he's barely featured in this period of form. And I don't think that's his fault. It's not the team's fault. It's just, you know, we found a different way to play. So I think he'll be disappointed with that. And if he doesn't want to celebrate, it's a bit disappointing because, you know, everybody's buzzing. And, you know, you saw Shane Duffy walking around the pitch, like, celebrating. And,
Duffy was celebrating like he still played.
Duffy, like, whipped the shirt off, everything. You know, he was there in his full kit walking around, doing a John Terry.
Doing a John Terry,
But, you know, it is disappointing, but it's not, I like Maupay. I still think he's got a lot of place to play. I've always said that he definitely needs another good striker with him. He can't do it all on his own. And maybe in the summer that'll be his blessing in disguise, in that he will start contributing as well as others. Because a lot of people moan about him not scoring. He scored 8 goals. He still outscored, like, Jimenez and players who we would say that some of these people who criticise him would say are better.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Glenn Murray, isn't he, in Premier League goals?
If
and he's
you
just
can bring
one more to get the record.
You know, if you bring in a few more strikers, contribute from goals from elsewhere, like Trossard has recently, Welbeck has definitely been adding to the assists or just general play. That brings his game up, I think. So I'm not too worried about him. I think he's just going through one of those patches at the moment. And it just happens to coincide with how we're doing so well. Because if he'd done that when we'd lost 3-0 to Burnley, I don't think anybody would have... I was disappointed when Basuma did it, but I don't think anybody would have been like that, like, as angry, because it's sort of like everybody knows we're shit. If it's just shit for him personally, then, you know, that's what it is.
I want to just bring on, actually, just before... Well, actually, let's just move on with it, actually, because while we're on about Maupay, I want to talk about the contrast of Welbeck, because his form has been fantastic recently. And I want to just say it, and Maz isn't on the podcast, so I can't call him out in a minute, but
we've done it enough already, mate.
Yeah, we've already done it. How you can't rate Danny Welbeck? And for me, you don't know what you're talking about, because I don't see how you can watch Danny Welbeck and not see the quality that he adds to the side. He is a cut above in this quality aspect. I mean, it's so evident to see. If you've been watching Brighton for the past 10 years, 15, 20 years, 5 years even, you will see the difference in quality that Danny Welbeck adds in attack. He's got the little touches. And I said it last time, I think even if he wasn't, you know, if he didn't have his injury problems in his career, he'd probably still be in that England squad. I mean, without a doubt, he's got the quality. Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, etc. have managed him. He's been under the best, right? He's been fantastic recently. If only that goal went in from about 20, 30 yards.
Yeah,
he smacked
God.
it.
Inches away.
Inches
it's a good
close.
hit, that. It's a really good hit.
Yeah, it's a very good hit. It was so close to hitting that top left corner, and I was so gutted. But he deserved the goal because he was all over the place in that game. I saw someone say, because I put it out, someone said that he was our weakest player on the pitch, and how someone can even think that.
Oh, I saw that. It was like the first reply underneath.
Yeah, I don't know how people see that.
It's all these accounts I follow, which are just like people's burners.
Yeah, maybe they're just a troll, possibly.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, Jack, you mate, talk about Danny.
Oh, like, last few games, I just think he's been fantastic. I'll let some other people talk on him, but I just think the way he's led the line has been so good. Like at Wolves, the penalty the second penalty that he won, like the way he sort of drags the whole team forwards with him and the hold-up play that he does, and I think he just led from the front against United from the outset, without scoring, without looking outstanding. Like, don't get me wrong, he still looked great, but without looking like the absolute.
He got an assist though. I'm assuming that counted as an assist, that Trossard one. So
well, yeah. Whatever happened on the goal line. But without looking outstanding, he just like dragged the team forward everywhere. So he was fantastic. I thought and I think him coming in since that Arsenal game, he was fantastic as well. To go back to somewhere where you've played and do so well. He looked fantastic. So
sorry, lads, I had a fly attacking me in there.
I saw that. I was trying to listen to Ben while seeing you do this. I was like, what's going on?
Ben, obviously, you've heard our opinions. What do you make of Danny? Have you always been a fan of him, or has he been one that's kind of warmed up to you a bit?
You're asking me?
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, mate. Mate, I love him, man. He's just Mr. Reliable. Like, exactly, he doesn't do anything special, but I don't think he needs to. He's got that talent around him. Yeah. So he's exactly what we need when you're playing with like McAllister and Trossard, like just that little foundation in the middle to link everything up. So mate, I sing his praises all the time, man.
I think like United and Arsenal fans always used to say how hard he worked. Like that was always the joke when he'd get in the England squad was like, yeah, but Danny Welbeck worked so hard, that's why he's got to be on the plane.
It's funny, isn't it? And all the memes, and
but
when you actually watch them play, you take the credit.
He does work so hard, and even speaking to Arsenal fans, like since he came to us, like the level that his work rate is really good for up front.
Yeah,
considering, and that's probably why he's so injury prone because he worked so hard.
Yeah,
and the last few games, like I say, it's just been fantastic. So there's no looking back really.
Signed the Ting then, Danny. Sure.
Yeah, signed the Ting and Pascal as well, and everyone else because we've got about 18 players.
Everybody's signed players out.
Everyone's running out of their contract. Speaking of contracts, no, okay, let's not go that far down, Jack. Speaking of contracts, I saw a mad graphic. I think it was yesterday actually, and it said that Graham Potter was the third least paid manager in the Premier League, and one of those was that Mike Jackson guy who's manager of Burnley. So let's just say bottom two. Well, the second least paid manager in the Premier League. And from being one of the better managers, one, he definitely needs a new contract. Otherwise, a big club might come knocking with a massive deal that he can't say no to. Ryan, are you confident that we'll offer him a new contract? Or even just give him a massive pay rise in the summer? What do you reckon?
I've got a decent little guy who tells me things in the Graham Potter contractual situation, so it's quite good. What I have learned, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, I'm going to do it, and if I'm not allowed to say this, then I'll tell you and I'll tell you to crop this bit out.
We're 36 minutes into the podcast, mate, no one's listening.
So apparently Graham Potter has a notice period on his contract of 12 months. So if people want to buy him out of his contract, he has to obviously give them notice, or they have to pay a very, very hefty compensation fee, which is sort of what Dan Ashworth has as well. He has a very long, I think it's maybe even 18
the gardening leave, isn't it, or something?
He's got a gardening leave thing on his contract, which means that he can't play for another Premier League team unless they pay big compensation. Newcastle still haven't done that, hence why Ashworth still isn't playing for him, being with them even. But Graham Potter's got pretty similar, and it seems like they've got quite a lot of chemistry, Bloom and Potter and even Barber. What we do with the Ashworth situation is another story, right? Because I think that something will happen there. But I just can't see Potter wanting to leave at the minute. I mean, we all saw that video of him chanting Seagulls outside the Abex after the game.
Blowing kisses after Wolves as well, wasn't he? Blowing kisses
that as well. Fans. It's the side of Graham Potter that I've wanted to see for so long that I probably haven't seen enough of. Whereas the last few weeks, it really feels like he's fell into that love of the fans and all that starting to take to him a lot more. There's not really a time where you see people going Potter out anymore. Not that there ever really should have been, but there was a time where that happened. Now you don't really see that. It feels like the connection to fans is starting to come there with Graham Potter. I don't see why he'd want to give that up at the moment, obviously, unless a big major salary comes in from a big club. But, the biggest worry was Manchester United for me. They've obviously now got Ten Hag. I can't see that happening anymore. Newcastle's obviously always going to be a scare because they've got a lot of money. I don't think he'll take on a Newcastle job yet. Maybe in a couple of years' time. I think he'll be silly to leave at the minute. Obviously, money dependent.
They're quite happy with Howe as well.
It just seems like all the Man City got Pep, Chelsea with Tuchel. Yeah, I just can't see anyone.
I can't
really
see Potter
taking
wanting to go to Chelsea at all.
I know that he's the favourite for the Tottenham job.
Which is weird because Conte's not going to be leaving anytime soon. No. Spurs fans love Conte. And even Richie Mills asked him, I think in his latest press conference, or maybe it's the post-match one, saying that, linking in, you're linked with the Spurs job. And he was like, well, they've got a manager there already, so why am I being linked? He's like, and then he said he's never said he wants to leave Brighton, which is obviously a positive thing.
I just can't see it happening. And with that contract as well, I mean, it's obviously a big compensation has to be paid. He got a connection with the fans, 12-month notice on his deal. He signed a 6-year deal only a couple of years ago. I just can't see him wanting to leave what he's built in such a short successive time.
So much invested in this club now.
And next season, if we do go for this summer and, Bloom, I think he will smell blood this summer, just as a general hunch. I don't see why he'd want to give up now when we're this close to Europe. I don't see why.
It's the contract situations with all the players, though. I mean, Jack, I'll go to you first, and then Ben will get your thoughts. Is all the contracts running out of our first team players? Would that be a worry for Potter? Unless behind the scenes he knows that they're going to get offered new deals. But Jack, would that not be a worry for Potter, knowing that a lot of those big players could be on their way out?
I think there's more to meet the eye with the whole contract situation. We seem to, because I'm even thinking back to like League One days, we seem to do the contract stuff. Maybe it goes on in the background for quite a long time. I remember Gary Dicker and Liam Brigcutt didn't sign their deals until, and they were out of contract, and they didn't sign it until just before the season started. Same with Dale Steven. The contract was running out at the end of that championship season, and it got announced
you're right.
just after we actually got promoted. Yeah. So we do seem to leave it quite late. I'm not too worried. What worries me is when they get into their final year of the contract, because then you start to get, especially with European clubs, they can start offering pre-contracts. But
agent talk as well.
Yeah, exactly. But when they've got a year on top of what's left, I'm not overly worried about it. If we're getting round to the summer and there's reports that they're refusing to sign a new deal, whatever, then we start to get worried. Like the Basuma, because I think people are worried about Basuma, but they're not worried about Trossard and McAllister, for example, who are in the same situation. I think it's because Basuma's kind of made a indication that he doesn't want to sign a new deal. Whatever, I'm not,
I think everyone's accepted that he's going.
Yeah, and if
everyone's accepted that.
Who knows, he might change his mind.
But then the thing is, there's been a lot of stuff come out recently about Basuma potentially signing a new deal and potentially not wanting to leave next season. He may not be the marquee selling point of next season, which could well be true. I mean, there's a lot of speculation, and that's what we're going to have to accept over this summer. But I think contract-wise, I don't think Gross will stay. Trossard is a grey area, but I think Welbeck will renew, if anyone. That's my.
And I think as well,
McAllister probably too.
Like Basuma, a lot of people were looking into the fact that he didn't celebrate at Wolves, which
was a weird one.
Yeah, which was a bit of a weird one, but he does.
He celebrated more for Caicedo's goal.
Yeah, and he does do that. Maybe he's a bit like what's his name, Balotelli, where he says a postman doesn't celebrate delivering letters, does he? So, and I just genuinely, because his first goal at Bournemouth, when he scored that back in, he didn't celebrate that one.
Yeah, he didn't celebrate that either.
So I think he's just a bit of an odd fella,
Ben, are you worried about Potter potentially leaving, or are you confident that he's invested and he will stay for, maybe see out his contract?
It's a funny one. I was, but now I'm, as you said, I'm looking at the other clubs and they all seem pretty content with their managers. I think if Conte left, I'll be worried. And people are saying he's going to leave if he doesn't get Champions League. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
No. Do you think Conte will leave Spurs if he doesn't get Champions League? He's done a great job, and he
maybe.
I don't know, but I mean, big clubs will be after him. So if Conte leaves, I will be worried. Yeah.
Yeah, I would be worried.
Yeah. See, I don't think I will, which is quite bold. Yeah, I just can't see him working with Levy, to be honest. And I can't see him. Yes, Tottenham's a massive attraction. The ground, the player quality is an attraction. I just can't see him working, one, with Levy, and two, working with a club where he's not really going to have that freedom that he's got at Brighton. Here he doesn't
seem money motivated either, does he, Ryan?
No, not at the moment. I think he's accepted he's a young manager, and that's the indication I get of him. Obviously, everyone's money vote. I'm not being funny. If the Sidemen call me tomorrow saying leave your podcast because we're going to pay you £1 million for, oh mate, I'm gone tomorrow. But no, I mean, yes, obviously money comes into it, but I just can't see Potter at this moment in time in his career taking that big role. I think he's accepted that he's got a big project here. I think he'll see it out. What
they did with Nuno will probably put him off. Because, like, as much as Nuno wasn't amazing, why would he want to go to Spurs when, Nuno got some okay results? He wasn't, like, bottom of the league. And he was gone out the door before, quicker than he walked in, basically. Not to say that is completely, but I think, like, I do think you're right, though, Ben. Like, I do think about Spurs, and that is the one which worries me the most.
Yeah, that's probably the most heavily linked one.
I do think at the time, he's a bit of an enigma, Potter. We don't really know what he wants from management. He's very calm. He doesn't give too much away.
So he doesn't do that.
I think if he was given the right situation, I do think Tottenham could be good because they're quite tight with their purse strings. But we're also quite tight with our purse strings. Like we don't spend a lot of money, so it'd be interesting to see which way he would choose to go. I think he would stay if Tottenham offered him. I think the only job that would really interest him is something like a Man United or something.
Potter has rejected Spurs before. I mean, that's quite common knowledge. I mean, Spurs fans deny it. He's rejected Tottenham before in last summer. So, what's changed from Tottenham from last summer to this summer? Not a lot. I mean, they've got Kulusevski, and that's about it, really. I just can't see the. If he didn't want him then, I can't see him wanting him now. Especially when Brighton are in a much, much better position this summer than they were last, position-wise in the leagues. Maybe you could argue, backroom might need a bit more improvement. I think we'll see that. I think we'll also see some improvement on the pitch. But I think purely if you're looking at results basis, I can't see him leaving it in a minute.
Also, he's built something so special with us, and I feel like we're still just getting started. Getting us into Europe next year is definitely on the cards. Like people, our Brighton fans are going to call us crazy, but we're not because we watch the way we play every game.
Yeah,
and we've got young players who are getting better. So he's on the brink of doing something real special. So I'd think he'd be silly to leave now.
Last point on this, and I think Joe Sayer said this. Obviously, Brighton fans get called a bit funny because of some of the stuff we say, but I think Joe Sayer said that we could potentially be like that Leicester. I think he said something like that, of that win the league. We're missing. I'm sorry, Joe. If I haven't nailed that word for word, I'm so sorry. Okay, so don't jump on his back too much. But he said something. It was like, why not? But I think we are missing that Vardy that they have. But if you do think about it, so a Leicester fan I think even commented, he was like, it's a fair point. Like if you're going player to player, or some of our players that are better than the players that played for Leicester. Obviously, they have Mahrez, Vardy, Kante, and maybe Schmeichel.
So they're not. Okay.
But
then the other ones are debatable. The other players are debatable. Anyway, I'm not saying that we're going to win the league, by the way, but I'm just saying that let's get our expectations right. Let's get our expectations sorted.
Back when Leicester won the league, football was way different as well. 2015, 16 even was a long time ago in football. A week's a long time in football, let alone 5-6 years. I just think, I mean, Pep Guardiola wasn't even in the league at that point, really. I don't think he was, actually. And Klopp wasn't really too involved in the league either. No. So Liverpool weren't a superpower. City were a superpower, but not anywhere near the level they are now. Plus, they've just signed Erling Haaland, literally. So I just can't see...
No. Let's not even entertain that. We're not even entertaining it, don't worry.
No. I love that from Joe, but it's not going to happen.
All right. Let's... There's no more points we want to make on the match unless I'm wrong.
No, I think I'm
match. No, all good, mate. All good.
Yeah.
So, Leeds United, Cucurella hair. We could potentially relegate them.
Not getting out alive, but it's all right.
Who's got their wig?
Not me.
I need to get the wigs, mate. I need to get the wigs.
Not paying 13 quid for that, mate. Not 13 quid.
Not paying
13 quid plus a fiver postage.
Mate, you've been to 200 matches this year, Jack.
Yeah,
surely
exactly. That's why I can't pay 13 quid.
If you're going to Leeds and you see me, please can you give me one? Because I don't want to sound like a freeloader, but I'm totally freeloading this, and I don't really want to spend 13 quid on it.
Ryan, it's on me. I'll get you one, mate. All right.
Oh yes.
I'll come find you.
Thank you.
I've got another costume sorted.
Oh yeah,
Jack-
not the Millhouse one.
Yeah, I've got the horrific Millhouse Van Houten
Oh
costume.
god, that's so good. Please go on Jack's Twitter to try and find that picture.
It's I just I think it's fun to just. I'll keep it a surprise. Maybe I won't wear the Millhouse costume.
That sounds good. Yeah, do that.
Yeah,
Ben, if you've got any cool stuff from your acting days, any cool costumes, I'll wear it if I see you.
No, character's pretty boring, bro. Just jeans and trainers, mate. Jeans and trainers.
A few guns as well, I'm sure.
Some guns, yeah, but they don't let me keep that. Funnily enough.
But right, let's go back to Leeds preview. Ryan, we could potentially relegate Leeds United if results go against them.
Well, not
How
mathematically.
mad would that be? No.
Let's put it this way.
The
right?
Ben White derby, the flies back, bloody hell. The Ben
I
White
don't want
derby.
to call myself a visionary or anything, right? But let's look at this time last year. We've just beaten Leeds. What was it, 2-0 at the Amex? Danny Welbeck scored that unbelievable goal, that Cruyff turn finish. I rattled pretty much the entirety of their fan base. I went on a Leeds podcast as well. And to be honest with you, yes, I did ask for it, but I didn't expect it to probably go the way it did. And I said that they'd do a Sheffield United this season. And I wholeheartedly meant it. I genuinely thought that they were going to get relegated this season. I still do. So, if all of these Leeds fans that replied on that tweet saying, oh yeah, well, look close to home, you're a Brighton fan, whatever. We're now 9th. We have the potential of even finishing 8th this season. We could possibly relegate Leeds at Elland Road at the end of this season. When I talk about visionary swings and roundabouts here, it doesn't get much sweeter than that, does it?
We're talking about poetry earlier in the podcast as well, weren't we? That would be
poetry.
poetic.
I'm sorry, right? I don't want to get beaten up by Leeds fans, so for that reason, I'm not going to try and rattle because I want to have a good day out, and I want to get out alive as well.
Now, it'll be hard to find you if everyone's wearing wigs and everyone's dressed up.
That's what I'm saying, bro. We can say
you're right.
We're all going to look the same. There's going to be 2,000 Kukureas walking around.
I'm going to be wearing some sunglasses and a big wig. And
Kukurea's the only man who's in trouble because everyone's going to look like.
I mean, you've just described yourself as a visionary there, Ryan. So, a nice humble reaction.
Can I just say I'm joking? I'm not completely deluded, all right? Don't actually think I'm a genuine visionary, but yeah, here we are. Because someone will take that seriously and they'll put out saying that Ryan's a deluded.
I think I mean, it's definitely an interesting twist. That we spoke about Everton and Burnley being the two favourites to go down. And it's come round to Leeds United. When I think when Burnley sacked Sean Dyche, they were 6 points adrift, I think, and everybody was like, "What the hell have they done? Why have they?" And fair play to Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's got that. He's I couldn't even think of it. He's made it a real thriller end to the season, and bang back in the net. It took me a while to get that one. But he's done so well with that team, and they've done really well. Now we're ending up with Leeds possibly going down. Their running is hard. I mean, they lost to Arsenal yesterday and they look pretty terrible. Ayling's now out for the season. They've got Chelsea at home midweek, and then they've got us, and then they've got Brentford. I think the only thing really in their favour is that we're essentially not playing for anything now. Now that we can't get Europe.
Yeah, but I think the players...
I think the players want to go...
We talked about Maupay earlier. He's got a fantastic record against Leeds. And if there's one game that he comes back into form, it's a game against Leeds at Elland Road.
To get his all-time Premier League Brighton goal scorer record as well.
Yeah, he is on that record. He's also on a record... I think that they are the best team he's scored in. I think that he's got the best record against them in his career, for Brentford included. And Danny Welbeck's also quite good against Leeds as well. So there's a little edge there, I think, in that our strikers will smell that because that's what strikers do. They like breaking records, especially against sides they like scoring against. If there's ever a time for Maupay to get back into form, I feel like it could well be this Sunday. But here we are. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. And Ben, what are your thoughts going into the game, mate?
Leeds.
Yeah.
I like Leeds. It's a shame. Obviously, I'm going to want... Mate.
You're right.
No, I like them in the Premier League. I'm with you on that.
Still feeling the effects of the drink.
I'm with you on that. I like them in the Premier League. They are a good team to have in the Premier League. Better than a lot of other sides that are going to come up. We'll talk about
it's a better
Norwich coming up and down. Fulham always coming up and down. Potentially Sheffield United coming back up and all that shit. I would rather have Leeds out of all of them. Yeah, sorry. Go on, Ben. Continue.
Sorry, No, yeah, but like, obviously I want us to win, but yeah, I'd be ashamed to see them go. But I think we are going to send them down. Like, you do not want to be playing Brighton right now, especially when you're fighting for your life. So
yeah,
but they're,
I love that. I love that. The edginess of it.
If they're playing Chelsea midweek, right? I mean, I could be wrong. So if they play Chelsea midweek and lose, obviously Chelsea are a bit out of form as well. That's a massive game for Leeds.
Yeah.
So then do we relegate them? Do they have to lose to Leeds to Chelsea midweek?
We can't mathematically do it.
No, I
even if they lose to Chelsea.
Someone, Alfie on Twitter, what's his name? 1901 Alfie, a truly insane Twitter account, an insane individual. He said, "Can we mathematically do it?" So then, when I was on the train home from work, I was working it out. We can't mathematically do it now because Burnley had to have got at least a point against Villa. But their goal difference is bad. So if they get a result at Tottenham at 12 o'clock, they could be all but relegated by the end of the day.
Yeah, we can pretty much all but do it.
But for me, I think it could be an interesting one. I don't think Burnley are going to get a result there. As much as it would be interesting if Leeds go down, I won't say funny because I'll wind up some people I know probably.
You wouldn't make it out of Elland Road.
I went to university in Huddersfield for years, and despite it being Huddersfield, it was absolutely full of Leeds fans. So I've got plenty of experience of winding them up. Which is easy. I almost got killed in a pub once in Leeds because Derby scored last minute equaliser, and I was with my mate who's a Derby fan, and he was running laps around that pub when they equalised.
Was that the Spygate? Was that during the Spygate stuff?
Yeah, I think it was during that. It was Chris Martin. He scored, but
playoffs.
Yeah, something like that. So that was the day I thought I was going to die, but it was. But yeah, like it would be interesting they go down, but I do think it will be Burnley who drop. I think they came into an amazing piece of form, but when all these new managers it's almost like they sacked Sean Dyche a bit too late. A bit too early, even.
Too late.
Because they've had their good run of form, and then against Villa they looked hopeless. So
apparently, no team has ever survived after sacking their manager after January or something like that.
Yeah, so
that had been in the bottom three at that point. Yeah, and they look like they could.
They could do it.
I don't know. I would,
but
they could. I would like to see him go down because I'm just tired of Burnley.
I think to be fair with Burnley, like they get a lot of stick, and I will shout them out here. As much as I'm not a huge fan of them, they've done very well with the budget they're given, and I don't think there's any other team like it in the league who is working on that tight level budget to stay up for so long. And I think you do have to appreciate the work they've done there to do it on such a tight.
No, definitely.
And as much as people complain about their play style, it's got them results. But I think they will drop this season, and if they don't, and I think if they stay up, it'll be good for us because it'll be another team who won't spend loads. So maybe better for us in the looking at the bigger picture. Everton would be the ideal one to go down because they will probably spend with Lampard, and they look like
that would be fun.
They look like a much better team, but I don't think they will. Looking at their fixtures, because they've got Watford midweek and a couple of quite easy games. Well,
let's do score predictions. Yeah. Ryan, I'm going to go to you first. Ben, you can think about yours. Score prediction for Brighton versus Leeds. Well, are we going to get loads of goals against them, or is it going to be?
Yeah, mate, we're absolutely flying at the minute. We're really flying, and I fancy all of our strikers, all of our midfielders to score. To be honest, at the minute, they're all absolutely on flames, and more to the fact, on a deeper level of football, I just fancy Graham Potter at the moment to do something against Jesse Marsch. I don't see what he's going to do for Leeds that's going to keep him afloat at the moment. I can't see anyone that calls the game soccer to be able to. I'm joking, but I just can't see. I can't see anything else other than a win. I've got to be, after watching Leeds recently, their defence is really, really poor, and it has been all season. So I'm going to say probably 3-0. And I think genuinely we can do that, and that'll be 10 goals in 3 games if that actually happens. But yeah, that's probably one with my heart, but my head probably maybe 2-0, 2-1, 2-0, 2-1.
Ben, score predictions.
Before Ryan said that, I was going to say 3-0, and I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to bet on that as well.
Really?
A grand.
I'm going to bet on
it. You said it now.
A Cucurella week, mate. I'm going to gamble my win.
Yeah.
Will he score, Ben? Who else will score? If Cucurella scores, who are you feeling?
I think Welbeck will score. And I think Caicedo might score again.
Yeah.
And then a late Maupay goal.
He's on top of the world.
And a late Maupay goal when he comes on as a sub.
So Jack, you think we will score?
So I said, what's it? I went to Prism after the game on Saturday because I'm a really cool, young, hip guy. And I saw Sam Miento in there. He was cool. I had a picture of him.
Really?
We were talking about Moises for ages.
I thought Jeremy knew better.
Yeah. I thought he seemed like more of a coalition man
prison?
to me. At least he's not in Shoosh. That seems to be like
Shoosh
is a death sentence for any Brighton player. Don't go near
players
that.
Goes to end their careers.
What was it? So I was saying to my mates in there. I said, we beat Wolves 3-0. Then we beat United 4-0. So that means we're going to beat Leeds, and we're just going to draw 1-1. That's what I think. So we could win, 5-0. I'm going to say, but we're not going to win 5-0. I think it's going to be 1-1. I think we'll go ahead, and I think they'll come back because I think they will. As much as we take the piss out of Leeds here, when they get that atmosphere like on song, it is really impressive, and I think they will have a good atmosphere, and I think they'll be able to. I think they'll score as well.
So it's quite edgy.
It's always quite edgy. I remember the last time we went there, which was last time I went there was the 2-0. Chris Wood scored 2, and they were singing "You'll Fuck It Up," and poetic justice happened to them.
This is a massive game for them as well, isn't it? This is huge. So the atmosphere is normally decent.
Yeah, and it'll be a good atmosphere,
regardless of the match. But this will be even bigger.
It'll be tense. It'll be tense.
It'll be a tense game.
And we got to move carefully because they're all going to be shitting themselves, and we're just going to be having a party in the away.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, they could get really wound up.
Because we've taken the smaller allocation, they'll be right in front of us as well. If you've been there before,
yeah, they are.
So they'll be in like a paddock in front of us. So that could be.
I'm scared.
They're teddy bears, really. No, they're not.
I'm not part of this bit. I ain't part of this.
I'm a lover, not a fighter, so But I'm spending the whole weekend up there, so I'm going up on the Friday, so.
Jesus, death sentence.
Yeah, I'm going to go watch Leeds University versus somebody in the Yorkshire Amateur League. So.
Of course. Why not?
So, Jack, I'm going up on Saturday as well.
Oh yeah, so might see you in.
Do beers Saturday night.
In some of the greatest clubs in Leeds City Centre.
Yeah, Leeds Prison probably.
Leeds Prison, yeah.
I'll be in the so but I don't know when I'm going up yet. But
let me end on our score prediction. Yeah. I don't know if it will be as simple as a 5-0 or whatever you guys said. It will be a 10-10. They're going to bang up for it.
Come on, it's great having this confidence.
Yeah. No, it is.
We just beat United 4.
I think
this is going to be like
the last time I came on was after. I think it was after we lost. I think it was after Villa maybe, and we were doing a Newcastle prediction. And I was going, I think it'll be a really tight game. I think a 1-1 will give us another point towards safety. Look at us now. Yeah. We're happy as fuck. We're not worried at all.
Well, I actually am slightly worried because things, like we say, things in football can change really quickly. I reckon maybe 2-1 Brighton, if that. It will be. I don't think it'll be as simple as we might think. Obviously, we're on a massive high right now, but putting my normal football brain hat on, they'll be bang up for it. And so maybe 2-1 to Brighton if we're lucky. Could even be a draw.
We will see, Ben.
I'll have more hope and say that our formal guide us to a win and a 2-1 win. That is probably going to be the end of the podcast. Yeah. We have to get back to work, don't we, most of us? Anything else that we want to say before we wrap up? Ben, comments below. I'm assuming you've listened to podcasts. We always ask people to comment something random below. And everyone has to flood the comments, basically.
Do on the game. What can we do?
What can we say?
Okay.
What was a... So, basically, Ryan last week said, Ryan told people to comment. This is like him trying to turn on his headphones earlier. Right. So, on YouTube, you can comment. There's a comment section that people type using their keyboard. Yeah. So, basically, Ryan last week or the week before asked them to type in Caicedo effect. So, everyone commented Caicedo effect. So it's like a saying or something like that.
He's probably overstating it by saying people flood the comments as well. Like, you know.
Wow.
Sorry,
come on our podcast to say that.
Jack. You so dirty there. Sorry.
Right, after this,
Jack
will not be.
Sorry.
Jack's
For some reason, I've chosen violence this morning. So, you know.
What about Trossard Please Stay or something like that?
No, it's a bit dead, isn't it?
Brilliant. Cheers. Right. I'll see you next week. Peace. Come on.
I'm leaving it to you boys. I get given a script to say. Do you know what I mean? I can't think of the words.
Bring back Ben's old trim.
No,
bring back Ben's old trim.
Actually, do you know what? If we relegate Leeds, Ben, I have to grow out your hair.
Your old trim was.
I'm not even.
It was
come on!
It's so much maintenance.
It looked good, man. It looked good.
It's just so much maintenance. Honestly, it's crazy. What about? I just had one then. What about? Okay. He came from Ecuador to win the Ballon d'Or.
I was going to say something like that, yeah. Well, I mean,
he came from.
Yeah.
All right, okay. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Well done to you all. Ben, thank you so much for joining. I hope you've enjoyed your debut. Jack, I mean, once again, part of the furniture at this point.
You know, they've managed to catch me on a day when I'm not at a random non-league game.
It's just basically just like a pub chat, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not a special guest anymore, Jack, unfortunately. You're just a guest.
I just arrived, don't I?
No, you're, what was it? Friend of the show,
yeah. Long time listener, first time caller, you know.
Yeah, love that. And Brian, of course, thank you for turning up once again for, I think this is like episode 86.
I'm going to go to Durrington now, so wish me luck and send me condolences in the comments.
Yeah, try to make out alive.
I
used to live there, so I can't be sad.
I don't think we check tickets on that part of the line. We just presume it's like Wild West.
Okay. If you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're listening to Spotify and Apple, you can watch us on Spotify, of course. Write a review, and we'll, if it's funny, and if you roast one of us, we'll post it on our stories as well. Once again, thank you all for coming, and we will see you post Leeds. Peace.
Peace.